Right? And then we have talked about origin of totalitarianism. Origin of totalitarianism. What's this talks about that origin of totalitarianism?
The violence was means and
actually she said, earlier regime, used to be different, right? The 20th century regime. Earlier regime used to be called authoritarian, right? And they used violence and force or terror, right, as a means to achieve something. They used this violence, force, and terror as a means to achieve something, right? To enforce certain law, right? To allow, compel people to obey something, right? But the 20th century, right, has, used it as an and. This terror, violence, force, brutality has become an and itself. They have come 20th century reason में क्या brutality है, terror and बन गया, मतलब यही करना है. And I told you that is final solution, right? The gas chamber, concentration camp became the symbol of terror, symbol of coercion, right? And she talked about that, ideology play a very important role, right? Ideology play a very important role in 20th century, right? What is this ideology? Ideology of nationalism in Germany, ideology of Marxism or communism in USSR. They said that nationalism in 19th century, it was not so totalitarian in nature, right? Or Marxism in 19th century, it was not totalitarian in nature. But when you something, what is ideology? This is idea plus logos. Logos means science. Wherever you put logic, sociology, biology, geology, the science of something, right? So when we say ideology, means the science of any idea, right? When you say, for example, even ism. Ism is a science. Marxism, socialism, feminism, liberalism, the science of particular idea. So he said, the ideology is to explain something. Before 20th century, ideology was something to explain something. Right? Even Aristotle talks about, Plato talks about logos, right? Knowledge. We should know, and knowledge should be in order to explain something, rather than to understand it as an ultimate truth. What happened in 20th century? 20th century rulers have understood ideology as an ultimate truth. Right? There is no truth beyond that truth. For example, if you look at Hitler in Germany and Stalin and USSR, Hitler, understood nationalism ultimate truth. No? And Stalin understood communism as the ultimate truth. Right? But ideology is the idea. The fictitious idea is something which you can explain. Right? But when you understood something as the ultimate truth, then you try to force it. Isn't it? You try to force it because you don't consider any alternative idea about any alternative idea or an idea beyond this. For example, for Hitler, nationalism was only the goal to make the nation great again. Fine. So 20th century regime has used ideology, right, in order to establish totalitarianism. इतना हमने लिखवा दिया, करवा दिया था. Fine. Hi Harsh, Raghav, others. लेट मत करो, वैसे ही हम खुद लेट 2-4 मिनट भूल जाते हैं. Ideology is a set of belief. Yes, you are right. कहीं पे भी लॉजी आया है wisdom से, science से. कहीं पे भी लॉजी लगा दो कि any science of some idea. Right? A set of principles, set of belief of particular idea. That is called logic. Maybe sociology, maybe psychology, it may be biology, anything. Now, what Hannah Arendt talks about, he talks about the 20th century. If you look at 20th century, a new form of government has come. She analyzed Hitler Nazi as a more than, she emphasized on Hitler because she was directly victim of Nazi Hitler, and she argued that 20th century, established new form. What was democracy? अब डेमोक्रेसी में हमने कर दिया, हमने इक्वालिटी बना दी. हमने क्या कर दिया डेमोक्रेसी को? We have given a man one vote. यही है बेसिक प्रिंसिपल डेमोक्रेसी का. Now, if you look at democracy in 20th century, the mass politics. This was new in 20th century. Earlier, if you look at before 20th century, politics was based on class. As Marx also stated, it was based on class. There were different classes. But in democracy, if you see one vote, one value, right? And who has given priority? Democracy goes for right? What happened? The popular leader started thinking how to exploit mass. How to exploit this mass. How can you, mobilize mass? Right? Fine. What Hitler did, Hitler used nationalism as an ideology to mobilize people. Right? Secondly, what he did, he created an enemy. पहला तो नेशनलिज्म, हमें देश को बड़ा बनाना है, देश को महान बनाना है, right? To make the country great again. How can you make it? You can do many things for your country. That's good. But at the same time, you need enemy. जो सबसे कमजोर फ्रेजाइल कम्युनिटी हो उसको enemy मान लीजिए. And if you look at Germany, Jew was in minority. They were migrant largely, but they migrated Germany many generations ago. So not that 19th century में Germany गए थे, नहीं. It was centuries ago, many generations ago. right? So they targeted Jew as a enemy to the country. So वहाँ पे you can see majority and minority conundrum. You can mobilize majority on the cost of minority. Are you getting my point? Now, if you know that Jew was a enemy to the German, no, right? Jew was an easy target. Jew could be the easy target for Hitler. So what Hitler did, he projected Jew as an enemy to the country and he mobilized majority in his favor. Right? And you know that in democracy, man, one vote and one value. When you mobilize majority through the populism, through the popular leader, great leader. The 20th century also had given, an idea of great leader, a mass leader. Right? When Stalin was a mass leader. Although it was not a democratic country, because they did not believe on election, but there is a separate election, kind of election, in even communist country. Right? But democratic country में क्या होता है कि they try to mobilize majority. अब majority mobilize होगा, कुछ ना कुछ आपको सगुफाज करना है. Right? Since religion cannot be used in that context because all country were the Christian country. But if you talk about India, now how majority is mobilized through the eyes of religion. And small community can be targeted as the enemy to the country. Right? So, and if you see the popular leader, the 20th century has given birth to the popular leader, like Hitler, like Mussolini, like Stalin. Right? This popular leader exploited mass. And since masses have all evil, they voted them. Do you remember J.S. Mill's fear? J.S. Mill feared that if you give political equality to everyone, that may turn into tyranny of majority. Right? He was very influenced by Tocqueville. That if you give equality, then these masses, may turn to majority. Because some leader may come and they may mobilize people, right? And they may turn into tyranny of majority. And that will be very dangerous. That will be very, very dangerous. Your example is Hitler. Fine? And nothing is called education से impact होता है. Don't worry. अगर education से impact होता, तो do you know who made the concentration camp and gas chamber? The best engineer framed the concentration camp, and the best scientist made the gas chamber. The well-trained nurse killed a very baby of Jew, right? And the well-trained lawyer justified the Jews killing. And the judge ordered, yes, this is okay for the entire nation. Because everyone was in the opium of nationalism. It's not that the poor people does not know and they vote. No, it's not. And it's not. Don't blame the uneducated people. There are educated people who does more worse than the uneducated people. Right? Right? So blame होता है हमारा सबसे आसान काम क्या होता है पता है? हम blame दूसरे के ऊपर थोप दें. ठीक है ना? मैं आपके ऊपर थोप दूंगा. आपने नहीं पढ़ा, ठीक से बच्चों ने नहीं पढ़ा. हाँ? मुझे आंसर ही नहीं लिख के दिया, आप क्या करोगे? सर ने ठीक से नहीं पढ़ाया। होता है, इट्स वेरी वेरी इजी टू throw the ball in other camp, right? So educate. If you look at the entire Germany brutality, it was the best judge justified, best judge and lawyer justified, the well-trained media, campaign for Hitler, right? Everyday media used to talk about how Hitler is a great, how his ideas are great, and how he's helping to the German people, right? Hitler ruled 12 years. Hitler ruled 12 years. He ruined Germany to the ground zero, to the zero. Right? Even today, there's one chapter in social science on Hitler in Germany, how a right-wing nationalist force could be disastrous. Right? And let me tell you, जब एक होता है ना, आपको किसी को पीते हुए देखा है, बहुत लोग जब पीते हैं ना तो जब तक गिर नहीं जाते हैं, जब तक अपना नाश नहीं कर देते तब तक छोड़ देते हैं। They are beating. Right? तो कोई नेशनलिज्म ऐसा ही ओपियम है कि आप अगर आपके सर पे चढ़ गया ना तो जब तक आप अपना नाश ना करा लो वो उतरता नहीं जल्दी। राइट? नेशनलिज्म एक बार दिमाग में सर में चढ़ गया ना आपको कुछ नहीं दिखेगा। Even you can kill any person on the name of Pakistani, on the name of Bangladeshi, right? And on the name of anti-national. वो भी नहीं है, मान लो कि वो भी नहीं है, नाम है कुछ और ऐसा, Indian name, Indian people, you can say this is anti-national. Now, if you look at Hitler or Stalin, it is not that Hitler killed only Jew. Hitler killed German Jew, right? On the name of socialist. He is a socialist. He killed German on the name of anti-national. He killed German on the name of Marxist. On the name of, anti-national. बता देना, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा तो anti-national है. It means any person who opposes Hitler, who is opposing Germany, who doesn't, that person does not want to make Germany great again, and that person must be punished. Right? And there are different kind of punishment. Right? Got the idea? Similarly, it was a Hitler. Right? If you criticize Stalin, it means you are criticizing the idea of communism, because he took himself as the ultimate truth of communism, and Hitler took India as the ultimate truth of nationalism. Point? Are you getting my point? So he said 20th century, gave birth to totalitarianism because terror was the end, right? And a gas chamber, concentration camp was a symbol of the terror, right? तो कितना लिखवाया है, आज खत्म करना है, उसके बाद आगे बढ़ेंगे. Yeah.
What is ideology for Anna Arendt?
What is ideology for Anna Arendt? Just change the para, right? Totalitarian regime. Change the para and write. One more question has come from this side. So is Nazism based on racism? Nazism was not based on racism as per se, but you can say it was also the part. It was also the part. If you look about anti-Semitism, Jew. The Jew actually, the birth of Jesus, or death of Jesus. how Jesus died. It is believed that what is the birthplace of Jesus? Jerusalem, right? Jew was also was in Jerusalem, right? So the Jesus, it is believed that this Jew, killed Jesus, right? But because Jesus preached something else. It's a very long way when as per New Testament to Christian humanity, right? So of course Christianity believes that Jew does not belong to the Europe; they belong to. But even Christianity does not belong to the Europe, right? If you look at the major religion that took birth in Asia, fine. Anyway, so racism was the part, of course. Okay, Ashwin. Totalitarian regimes reject diversity. Totalitarian regime reject diversity. It tries to homogenize community policies and programs. Okay? मतलब one nation, one election, yeah, one nation, one this, right? Try to homogenize. It rejects individuality too. It rejects individuality too. And emphasize on community, state. According to Hannah Arendt, totalitarianism began with ashes of joint fire. Totalitarianism began with mass politics. Right? Rule of fertility लिखा दिया ना मैंने टाइटल देख करके हाँ नीचे लिखिए why mass politics gave birth to question why mass politics gave birth to totalitarianism. Why mass politics gave birth to totalitarianism? Okay, 20th century provided a new form of government. That is democracy. Right? In democracy, there is a political equality. In democracy, there is a political equality, and it is based on one man, one person, one vote, and one value. One person, one vote, and one value. Democracy gave birth to mass politics. Democracy gave birth to mass politics and popular leader. Democracy gave birth to mass politics and popular leader. Earlier, change the paradigm. Earlier, change the paradigm, right? Earlier, society was divided into classes. Earlier, society was divided into classes, like lord and serf. Property and illiterate and illiterate. But 20th century, but in the 20th century, mass politics gave equal right to everyone. Mass politics gave equal right to everyone. Change the paradigm. According to Hannah Arendt, change the paradigm, right? According to Hannah Arendt, 20th century brought crisis of nationalism. Crisis of nationalism. In Germany, Hitler used nationalism as an ideology. In Germany, Hitler used nationalism as an ideology.
Nationalism as an ideology.
To mobilize masses. Hitler के बारे में लिख रहे हैं हम लोग. Yeah. It used anti-Semitism. It used anti-Semitism. आपको नहीं आई थी शीतल? अच्छा. Anti-Semitism in order to create majority-minority divide. Ashish, are you connected? Writing? Yeah, Shobhit, let me ask. क्या वो आवाज नहीं जा रही? Please, बंद कर. Shobhit, are you writing? Raghav, Harsh, Ashwin, Ashish, others? Are you people writing? Because I'm unable to see you. इनका पेपर तो मैं देख लेता हूँ. Right? So you should take your accountability by your own self. Writing? Very good. Chalo. Shobhit, go right now? Okay. Shall you come?
In order to create majority divide.
Majority divide. Hannah Arendt argued that Jews were targeted. Not because they were Jew. Jews were targeted not because of Jew, but because Jews were targeted not because they were Jews, because a totalitarian state always need a soft target. Totalitarian state need always a soft target, right? A convenient enemy and a convenient enemy. You appear to be convenient. You appear to be convenient because they could be targeted easily. Because they could be targeted easily. And they could be projected responsible for all German problems. All German problems. Okay? The origin of Nazism. Origin of Nazism. Hitler attracted masses. Hitler attracted masses through his oratory skills. Through his oratory skills. Hitler attracted masses through his oratory skills. He was a great orator. Oratory skills. Germany was facing problem. Germany was facing problem. It was defeated in the World War I. In the World War I. And humiliated thereafter. And humiliated thereafter. In the Treaty of Versailles. And the Treaty of Versailles. In the Treaty of Versailles. In addition, full stop. In addition, economic crisis. In addition, economic crisis. Great Depression. Yeah, 1929 brought so much frustration. 1920 economic crisis 1929 brought so much frustration among masses. In such condition, masses were eager to accept a popular leader like Hitler. Right? When there is a crisis, right? When there is a crisis, the masses can move either to right or the left. Whenever there is a crisis, masses can move either to right or left. In Germany, the right party, bracket Nazi party, The right party hijacked the mass movement. Hijack, yeah. वो hijack होता है ना? हाईजैक करना। हाँ, अन्ना आंदोलन हुआ था, उसको हाईजैक किसने कर लिया? तो अरविंद केजरीवाल ने टोटल सारा सपोर्ट लेके अपना सरकार बना, उसको बोलते हैं हाईजैक कर लिया। और देखिए, Nazi party hijacked the mass movement, like Hitler's ideology. Hitler's ideology.
Sir, these topics that we are writing, are they mentioned in Hannah Arendt's book, or we are just writing?
No, you can mention Hannah Arendt book. This is origin of totalitarianism. So that's your book. Book अभी रखा हुआ है मेरे पास. I was reading few class.
So we are writing about the book.
About the yes, origin of totalitarianism, how Nazism came into that, all is story from her book. Fine. Yeah. Hitler's ideology. Right. Hitler used concept of Aryan race. Hitler used concept of Aryan race as a superior race. Hitler used concept of Aryan race as a superior race and depicted Jew as an inferior. Jew as an inferior, untrustworthy. Consequently, Nazi party started targeting Jew. Consequently, Nazi party started targeting Jew. Hitler called Jew the termite of nation. You know termite का हिंदी मतलब दीमक. Yes, दीमक. Termite of nation. Right. The meaning of totalitarianism. As for Hannah Arendt. Yeah, see that according to Hannah Arendt, totalitarian leaders always try to mobilize masses. In the context of Germany, masses lacked a sense of purpose. In Germany, masses lacked a sense of purpose. Hitler gave them purpose. Or objectives. Hitler gave them purpose, a sense of identity. A divine mission that make Germany great again. Make Germany great again, and eliminate all those who are against of German interests, who are against of German's national interest. Right? For Hitler, survival of the fittest is the rule. Survival of the fittest is the rule. For Hitler, survival of the fittest is the rule. It means the stronger will survive and the weaker will extinct. The stronger will survive and weaker will extinct. 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 बताइए क्या? हिटलर ने क्या किया? उनको पर्पस दिया, भैया आपको ग्रेट जर्मनी को ग्रेट अगेन बनाना है, और जो भी प्रॉब्लम है जर्मनी को ग्रेट अगेन बनाने में उसको हटाना है. सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम कौन सा है? ये जीव लोग. और जीव को क्या करना है? आपको एलिमिनेट करना है. When you convince masses कि okay this is the right way, क्योंकि जब masses को पर्पस नहीं है, अगर बहुत ज्यादा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है, क्राइसिस है, इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस है, तो लोग क्या करता है? लोग सगुफा बहुत अच्छा लगता है लोगों को. You know the Hindi mean सगुफा. What is सगुफा? अच्छी बातें बहुत अच्छी लगती है. अगर अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हो, कोई काम ना होना, तो अगर ऐसी बातें कहे जो आपको अच्छी लगे, आप वहीं पे जाओ. गो टू आश्रम बाबा की सुनो, कितना अच्छा लगेगा. शांति यही है. ये नौकरी वोकरी सब बेकार है. Right? Fine. Or you find a leader who can give you some mission, a divine mission. Right? Then you will involve into that. Fine. Anyway. All right. Morality and its crisis. ये दीजिए. कैसे पूछेगा? हो सकता है रोल ऑफ आइडियोलॉजी बताइए. एक टोटलिटेरियन निजाम को इवॉल्व होने एज पर अनाइज, देन आपको आइडियोलॉजी पे एम्फसाइज करना है. कभी कल पूछेगा कि ओके हिटलर, व्हाट हिटलर हैज यूज्ड एज पर अनाइज, व्हाट आर द टूल्स ही हैज यूज्ड टू एस्टैब्लिश अ टोटलिटेरियन स्टेट. Then you have to write all these things. Fine. As per the demand of the question, you need to write. Fine. Now write. Hannah Arendt is a severe critique of modernity. Hannah Arendt is a severe critique of modernity. Hannah Arendt is a severe critique of modernity. Because modernity had destroyed political. Modernity has destroyed political. ये हन्ना अरेंट कहती है. Right? What do you mean by political? Political. According to Hannah Arendt, political means Political means Athenian political culture. Political culture. Athenian political culture. Now, little bit you know about Athenian political culture. It emphasized on debate. It did not give priority to the masses. It emphasized on debate, deliberation, discussion, and then reach to the conclusion. But जब भी पॉपुलर लीडर होता है वो ये नहीं फोकस करता है. पॉपुलर लीडर ने कहा भाइयों बहनों कल सुबह से 500 और 1000 का नोट बना. There is no deliberation, just action. And just action, creates lots of problems. Right? I'm just making some analogy. Right? It depends on you. Popular leader takes direct action.
But isn't also like a popular leader?
He is a popular leader. Philosopher king. Philosopher king cannot be called popular leader because he is not elected. He is not produced by the masses. The popular leader is a product of 20th century, basically democracy, or the communism, right?
But it still is one kind of totalitarianism as well.
Yeah, of course. It is a symbol of totalitarianism because source of totalitarianism for a philosopher king is his wisdom, not the masses. But here, who is the source of totalitarian? It's the masses who have given authority. Fine. So that is the difference. And Athenian political culture में क्या था? Debate, discussion. देखिए, according to her, Athenian society was a political society. अब ये ग्रामसी से अलग political society है, हाँ? Athenian society was a political society. Athenian society was a political society. What are the features of the society? Features क्या है इस Athenian political society का? पहला, social solidarity. Remember Athenian political culture when all citizens used to gather and then start deliberation. Right? Social solidarity. It means citizens come together. Cities come together to resolve the collective affair. The collective affairs. पर इसका मतलब नहीं कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम है, इसमें भी प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? बट ये जो टोटलिटेरियनिज्म है ये तो मतलब अनप्रेसिडेंटेड था. It was कभी किसी ने हिस्ट्री में सोचा भी नहीं होगा कि there will be such a leader who killed 5 million people on the name of nationalism only. Okay? So social solidarity was the first feature in Athenian political culture. Second, active participation. Active participation. According to Arendt, modernity according to Hannah Arendt, modernity brought capitalism and capitalism transformed man as an economic man, and it transformed man as an economic man. Right? As an economic man. Economic sphere became dominant. Economic sphere became dominant. Hence, participation declined. Participation declined. Gramsci, Marx, Hannah Arendt बहुत पूछते हैं, right? Even Plato, Aristotle शुरू में और ये, otherwise Plato, Hobbes नहीं पूछता, Locke नहीं पूछता, रूसो आज तक नहीं पूछा है. आज कहीं ने मुझे बताया कि सर रूसो से भी सवाल नहीं आया है. और रूसो सिलेबस में मैंने चेक किया तो रूसो सिलेबस में भी नहीं, उसने बोला. बट रूसो के बिना आप जैसे पॉपुलर सोवर्निटी है, पार्टिसिपेटरी डेमोक्रेसी है, बहुत कुछ पढ़ेंगे उसमें रूसो आएंगे. Anyway, got the idea? How, what is the no? ठीक है? फीचर्स क्या है? पहला क्या है? सोशल सॉलिडारिटी. दूसरा क्या है? एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन. और लिखिए डेलिब्रेशन. Deliberation. For Hannah Arendt, or I'm writing action. For Hannah Arendt, deliberation is an important part of politics. Deliberation is an important part in political, right? In political culture, I think in political culture promoted a rational, logical, rational and logical debate. In order to make decision. Right? The totalitarian it has declined in modern time. It has declined in modern time. Right? और totalitarianism तो आपको deliberation allow नहीं करता है. Right? Actually, it arrests the people who does not speak as per the totalitarian's view, perspective. Right? Can you believe that any Ravish Kumar could have been exist in Hitler? No. Now Hitler, now you Ravish Kumar will be problem of that. You know Ravish Kumar, you must be knowing him. He's always critical of the government, right? You can't think of in Hitler's Germany or Stalin's USSR could be a पर्सनल एक्सपेक्ट्स तीसरे दिन ही उनका काम हो जाता है. Now again, you know the NDTV has been acquired by Adani Group. Now I don't know if Resma has resigned it or not. Let's see what happened. Anyway, modern, totalitarian government does not allow deliberation. It believes in action rather than deliberation. है ना? तो समझ में आया? देखिए, सॉल्यूशन क्या है टोटलिटेरियनिज्म के का? देखिए, सॉल्यूशन फॉर टोटलिटेरियनिज्म. Solution for totalitarianism. For Hannah Arendt, revival of political is only solution. Right? To address the solution of totalitarianism. ठीक है. सो अच्छा, पॉलिटिकल का क्या मतलब है? गॉट आइडिया? क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि व्हाट इज पॉलिटिकल अकॉर्डिंग टू हन्ना अरेंट. फाइन. अब टोटलिटेरियनिज्म का क्या मतलब है, थोड़ा सा इसको देख लीजिएगा. तो ये एक्स्ट्रा है, देख लीजिएगा थोड़ा सा. दूसरा किताब है ह्यूमन कंडीशन, दैट आई वांट टू टॉक अबाउट. टोटलिटेरियनिज्म पे बहुत बात हो गई है. फाइन, दैट इज सफिशिएंट. थोड़ा है conclusion remark you read from your find the totalitarianism का और क्या additional है. Now come to the human condition. Another book, that is human condition. What person does basically he talks about two activities. One is called vita contemplativa. Vita contemplation and vita activa. ना है एक्टिवा का नाम स्कूटर. व्हाट इज एक्टिवा? मींस एक्टिव रहता है इंसान. वीटा कंटेम्पलेटिवा here refers to thinking, right? And vita activa means doing, action, right? Gramsci, he said all person are a thinking person and also working person, laboring person. What he said, if you talk about activa, thinking का तो ठीक है. Activa means action, right? There are three kind of work, right? Or three kind of action. One is called labor. Right? Another is called work. Right? And third is called action. What is labor? Alienated labor from the Marx point perspective. When we do a certain work to satisfy our need, right? Like animal क्या करता है? वो भी खाना ढूंढता है, खाना खाता है, सोता है, उड़ता है, बातें करता है, झगड़ता है. अगर हम ऐसा कर रहे हैं, you are doing only labor. What Hannah talks about. If a person is engaged in mere, animal functions, what idea? A person fulfills, satisfies his needs, his sexual needs, his, material needs, right? He does work, right? He produces like animal भी produce करता है अपने generation को, right? तो वो क्या करता है? वो क्या है? Labor, and he called laborer, animal laborer. ऐसे हम क्या कहते हैं? Animal laborer. Getting the idea? He divided three kind of action. One is labor, or second is work, and third is action. Right? If you look at the people, there are people, but there are many people who apply skills along with labor. Right? Their creativity, what Marx say, creativity, like engineer, artist, Bollywood star, right? NASA engineer, NASA का engineer जो भी है, scientist, what they do? They invest also their creativity. That is called work. Fine. Fine. So like builder, और इसका नाम है इसको छोड़ दीजिए, नाम में बाद में बता दूंगा. हाँ, होमो फैबर, होमो फैबर, तो चलेंगे क्या? होमो फैबर, FAB, लोग जो क्या करते हैं? अपना थिंकिंग भी लगाते हैं, एक्टिविटी. आज मार्क्स भी वही कहता है. But she says, a third kind of activity, which is the highest activity, which is political. आप लोग मान पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटी बहुत गंदी एक्टिविटी है, पॉलिटिक्स में जाना बहुत गंदी बात है. Hannah Arendt says no. Engaging into politics is the highest type of activity. Right? What happens when competent people does not engage in political activity? What happens? A popular leader, right, exploited the masses, and what happens? He becomes popular. तो उसका कारण हम ही लोग हैं, right? She said, Hannah Arendt, the third type of activity, which is the highest activity, is a political. Why do you do political? For to get maximum freedom. Because if you intervene into political, then a leader come and capture the power. And if the leader will be the authoritarian, totalitarian, then it will curb the freedom. So in order to exercise freedom and allow other free to live, everyone we should live in, engage in action, political action. Right, so that is a beta activa, and that is her beta contact with any So person क्या करता है? काम भी करता है, सोचता भी. Okay. So if you look at her idea, it's a mix of men. यहाँ पे ग्रामसी भी दिख जाएगा आपको यहाँ पर मार्क्स क्लियरली दिख रहा है. मार्क्स ने इस दोनों को डिवाइड किया था. What she did, she put a new term, which is action, which is the highest type of activity, right? And she suggests that every individual or all citizens should engage into politics, right? To get a maximum freedom and allow other to exercise same freedom. Right? If we engage actively, if we engage in deliberation, what will happen? It will, it will not give opportunity to any person to become a totalitarian leader. Right? And you have equipment, you have mind, you just negate it. समझ में आया? Yes, making some sense. Shobhra, Raghav, Harsh, Ashwin, Ashish, others. कुछ नहीं है, खत्म आपका है. ठीक है. अब ये तीनों चीज आप इससे लिख लेंगे. Can you write? Labor is animal activity required to sustain life, like eating, physical care, reproduction. वही जो एनिमल का काम. Right? कुछ भी नहीं है. अच्छा, वर्क क्या है? It is an innovative activity like handicraft, making a house, bridge, material wall. जो मैंने कहा. When you engage, your activity, your skills, like engineer, like Bollywood stars, अपने हिसाब से movie बनाते हैं. You enjoy it, like Manish Malhotra. Have you heard about Manish Malhotra? He's a designer. So that is a word. When and we call animal labor, animal faber, जब आप वहाँ पे activity करें. What category highest actions we say action, right? And collectively, she called it is a beta active. Contemplative, no. She doesn't talk about this more. She talks about this too. ठीक है, ये. Fine. 24 तारीख में हमने खत्म कर लिया. ठीक है. Any question if you have? Critical evaluation I'll send. I send to you about marks and question on Gramsci. I'll send you Gramsci थोड़ा मुझे क्या and then I'll send you question. Arendt पे I'll send you question.
We can use analogy from modern days.
Yeah, exactly. You can do.
Then it be controversial.
No, not at all. Why do you study this text? No, I told you in the first class. These all texts are classical texts because they are ageless. They are relevant. What they talked about in that text that we realize in today. For example, Plato's education. Right? You can get reflection of Plato's education in new education policy. How new education policy is interdisciplinary. Plato provides that. With geometry, you will poet, you will music, right? So you can absolutely you can do it. Don't worry. Okay? चलो, now आज सुबह मैंने सोचा कि आपको टारगेट सेट करूं पॉलिटिकल थियरी के लिए कब करेंगे, but tomorrow I'll tell you. So what about Hannah's concept? Hannah around concept of power. जब power पढ़ेंगे ना, Shobhit, there's a one concept called power. We'll tell you. Hannah Arendt will tell you about, Foucault. Don't worry. Okay, so we have हमें पढ़ना है except power as a concept, political concept. Topic number 10 अभी तक हम लिखे हैं, only one topic. We have finished, but we have finished a lot. Don't worry. Now, if you come, we need to talk about political ideology. And there are different political ideologies. Right? Then, if you see the idealism is the political ideology. We saw that Plato was a father of idealism. And if you talk about modern idealism, who was the father? Hegel. Right? Now, idealism then we have to study liberalism. We know who's the father of liberalism? John Locke. So in liberalism, we need to talk about three liberalism. One is classical liberalism, another is modern, and third is new. And fourth category is it's called social liberalism. और लिबरल इगैलिटैरियनिज्म ये पढ़ना है हमें पहले ये पता होना चाहिए हमें पढ़ना क्या है ठीक है और दूसरा ये पता होना चाहिए कि उसका रेंज कितना पढ़ना है ठीक है कितना रेंज पढ़ना है कि यूपीएससी में कवर हो जाए ठीक है अदरवाइज इतना ज्यादा है कि मतलब एक महीने मार्क्स पढ़ते हैं तो भी कम पड़ता पूरे 6 महीने ग्रेजुएशन में पढ़ाते हैं केवल ये थॉट को वो भी आधा थॉट अगले एक 6 महीने में आधा थॉट दूसरे 6 महीने इवन उसके बाद टीचर कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाते यू नो यस सो लिबरलिज्म के बाद में पढ़ना है सोशलिज्म राइट अच्छा सोशलिज्म किसने प्रोपाउंड किया था who's a propounder of socialism जैसे लिबरलिज्म में आपने कह दिया जॉन लॉक
Karl Marx.
No, before Karl Marx, socialist. Before Karl Marx, socialism was already there. What Karl Marx did, he transformed socialism into more so-called scientific socialism. So, you know, philosophers like Louis Blanc, Saint-Simon in France, Proudhon, they were the earlier thinkers. Right? And I told you that earlier socialism, they were ambiguous. उनको पता कि मुझे believe नहीं करना इस capitalism में, we believe in something different, and that is they, you know, depicted themselves as a socialist, like Louis Blanc, and Simon in France, right? Proudhon in France. So we need to study socialism, and we need to study socialism basically into 3 parts. Before Marx, during Marx, after Marx. Okay? And we will also talk about socialism in 21st century. Right? So before Marx, during Marx, before Marx भी थोड़ा पढ़ा दिया थोड़ा और पढ़ा and after Marx पे काम करना after Marx पे काम करना है and then socialism in first century ठीक है इसको बना लो एक पेज में मुझे भी दे देना तो मैं भी वर्कआउट कर लूंगा ना कि अच्छा ये पढ़ाना आपको राइट ये अभी कर रहा हूं मैं क्लास में ये मेंशन हो रहा है राइट idealism liberalism socialism now we need to talk about feminism talk about here feminism yeah in feminism we need to talk about 4 waves of feminism after topic number 10 this is the largest topic so we need to talk about 4 waves of feminism liberal then we need to talk about socialist then we need to talk about radical and then we need to talk about intersectionality कॉलेज में ना रेगुलर पढ़ाई भी नहीं होती है और इतना रिग्रेस होते भी नहीं उनका पर्पस ही एक्चुअली थोड़ा अलग होता है हमारे यहाँ पे क्या है इस में हम डेली पढ़ते हैं और डेली एग्जैक्टली ठीक पढ़ते हैं ठीक ठाक पढ़ लेते हैं तो कंप्लीट हो जाती है लिबरल सोशलिस्ट रेडिकल एंड इंटरसेक्शनलिटी दिस ऑल आर अप्रोच ऑफ फेमिनिज्म राइट ये आइडियोलॉजी पढ़ने के बाद वी विल टॉक अबाउट फासिज्म बहुत छोटा साइकोलॉजी छोटी साइकोलॉजी है फासिज्म यही पढ़ना है इंटरसेक्शनलिटी हो गया खत्म उसके बाद ठीक है इतना हमें पढ़ना है पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी में हम नहीं पढ़ना बहुत ठीक है चलो आज शुरू करें आइडियलिज्म से शुरू करें बहुत आप इसके बारे में जानते हैं बहुत कुछ हमें बताना है ठीक है कुछ आप जानते हैं कुछ हमें बताना है Yeah, clear that we need to study. Now, should I start? Idealism? Okay. Now, let's talk. Idealism. और जो पूछ रहा है idealism का मतलब होता है अच्छा आइडियोलॉजी का क्या मतलब होता है पहले ये समझ मैं आज ही बात कर रहा था आइडियोलॉजी का क्या मतलब होता है आइडिया सिमिलर है ठीक है लॉजिक ये लोगोस है लोगोस मतलब था साइंस नॉलेज राइट किसी में लॉजी लगा दीजिए साइंस ऑफ दैट फिजियोलॉजी साइकोलॉजी सेफोलॉजी right then geology biology kuch bhi laga do now so we need to understand political ideology and few political idea few political idea in a great land that we need to understand ठीक है political ideology का मतलब ideology is a set of belief a set of ideas systematic ideas fine now come to this idealism थोड़ा कुछ बताना प्लेटो के बारे में प्लेटो ने क्या आइडियलिज्म के बारे में कहा है कुछ आई अब आप जितना पढ़ाया काफी काम आएगा ये तो इसका एक्सपोनेंट कौन है एक्सपोनेंट मींस proponents right proposer is modern time में modern time में legal the father of idealism T.H. Green Immanuel Kant right if you look at modern idealism that moved in two directions. One was Hegelian direction और Plato भी उन्हीं के कैटेगरी में आता है. Hegel क्या कहता है? State is a supreme idea, absolute idea. You should believe in it, you should obey it. क्यों कहता है? Right? दूसरा वेरिएशन है Immanuel Kant का. Immanuel Kant ने categorical imperative का idea दिया था, right? So modern idealism divided into two phases, two sections, two categories, two types of modern idealism. One is Hegelian, who gives priority to the state. Even if you look fascism, gives priority to whom? State. If you look at extreme version of nationalism, it gives priority to the state. Make the great nation again. Now, Immanuel Kant ने categorical imperative का idea दिया था. What is categorical imperative? Why we are studying? Any answer? अगर मैं पूछूं आपको कि आप लोग पढ़ क्यों रहे? Sorry?
One is acquiring knowledge, and other is why we are studying right now is to clear things.
Right? Fine, exactly. So he said, we do lots of action to achieve something, and we use something as a means, isn't it? Huh? We achieve something as a means. and that he called hypothetical imperative. He called this as a hypothetical imperative. When do we use something as a means, right? For example, we are studying for the purpose of getting job, right? And he said this is not good, right? He said it should be categorical imperative. We should study because study is a good idea. Acquiring knowledge is a good idea, right? We should do friendship not why we should do friendship for why. Generally, in general, there are some exchange. होता है आपके लेवल पे शायद नहीं होता होगा बट होता है right? Said no, friendship is a good idea, right? We should do friendship on the sake of friendship and we do not seek exchange. ऐसा नहीं कि अर्जुन मुझे जब तक भी अर्जुन मेरा दोस्त नहीं दिया तो उसको साइड कर दो, right? But this is idealism. I told you that this is idealism. Generally, what people practice, people practice when people are getting exchange. Even family में होता है. एक certain time तक family आपको पैसे देगी, बेटा पढ़ो, because they have lots of expectations. Let me tell you, right? They have lots of expectation from you, right? So they are not letting you study because study is a goal. They are letting you study because you'll achieve something. That is the practical part of that, right? And he said hypothetical imperative leads to a bad, unjust thing. It is always, categorical imperative, but categorical imperative क्या है? Of course, idealism है. If we should study for the sake of study itself, तो खाना कौन खिलाएगा भाई? Isn't it? अगर मैं मान लो कि मैं आज पढ़ाना छोड़ दूं आप लोगों को और मैं पढ़ना शुरू करूं, राइट? ग्रामशी को पढ़ा, बहुत सारे फिलोसफर हैं, उनको पढ़ते रहूं, खाना तो कौन खिलाएगा मुझे? You need to work now. So basically, we go for the happening. This is practical part, but categorical, idealist part is categorical imperative. Got the idea, right? So modern idealism is divided into two parts, two types: the Gallican school and Kantian school. ठीक है?
So according to Ranjan, can't there be evaluation of both hypothetical and practical?
He doesn't do that. क्यों? अच्छा मैं बताऊं क्यों कैटेगरी इम्पेरेटिव उन्होंने एग्जाम बनाई है. आपको पता है यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म? You know utilitarianism. What is utilitarianism? Balance, yeah. Greatest happiness to the greatest number, right? And you should not think about the minority. कोई पॉलिसी आया मैक्सिमम सही है ठीक है, बट कुछ लोगों पे गलत है ठीक है, इसमें कहा कि नहीं, this is not good, right? If something is bad, then it's bad. अगर कोई पॉलिसी आया, अगर it is harming even a single person, it's bad. I told you the railway track. You are a pilot, and you are tended to this, but your brake fails. Where will you go? And you said, I will minimize the pain. He said, Kant will say, no. It's unjust. It's totally unjust. What idea?
So according to Kant, we should kill 5 people.
Exactly. We should go to that way. Because उसके लिए किसी तीसरे को मत मारिए. Because that is not fault. एक आदमी जो आ रहा है.
So he doesn't follow the concept of pleasure and pain.
No, he doesn't. He said what is right is right. conduct is a right is a right. Fine, and that should be done. ठीक है? तो थोड़ा सा देखिए ये एक्सपोनेंट दे दिया. देखिए modern idealism can be divided into two parts. Modern idealism into two parts. First, egalitarian school. Modern idealism can be divided into two parts. अच्छा, idealism founding father कौन था idealism का? हमेशा प्लेटो को याद रखना. Plato was the founding, father of philosophy, and he was a father of idealism, right? But modern idealism, we are talking about idealism, right? So he gave his school, right? He gave primacy. He gave priority to state. For him, state is the march of God on the earth. On the earth.
So state is
State is march. Yeah, state is the march of the God. State क्या है? वो चल रहा है धरती पर, चलता फिरता चीज है वो क्या है? स्टेट है. मार्च ऑफ गॉड ऑन द अर्थ. ठीक है ना? हाँ, गड़बड़ नहीं है. ठीक है. हाँ, खुद कंफ्यूज हो रहा था कि गड़बड़ तो नहीं हो गया. देखिए, Mussolini used this concept. Mussolini used this concept and established a totalitarian state. A totalitarian state. आपको पता है मुसोलिनी क्या कहा करता था? Believe or will find Mussolini is always right. He used to say state is beyond the individual, right? State is prior, nothing prior to the state, above the state, and outside the state. State is supreme, right? जो भी हम करें state के भले के लिए करें. You need to obey it, right? So, a totalitarian state. Second school is Franklin school. Franklin. Immanuel Kant was a great philosopher. Great philosopher, not philosopher, philosopher. And pioneer of enlightenment. You know enlightenment? Huh? We give priority to pure region. Pure region. Right? He said, we should not do, we not do or treat someone, we should not do or treat some or some as mere means, as mere means. For example, studying, job, making friendship for exchange, making friendship for exchange, he called it as a hypothetical imperative. He called it as hypothetical imperative. He rejected this idea. He rejected this idea and argued शोभित मैं आंसर देता हूं आपको आंसर मैं देखा नहीं आपके क्वेश्चन की तरफ शोभित ने पूछा कि सर क्या सर हम ब्लैक इको फेमिनिज्म पढ़ेंगे क्या पूरा पढ़ेंगे जब इंटरसेक्शनैलिटी आएगी वहां पर आपको ब्लैक फेमिनिज्म भी आती है इको फेमिनिज्म भी आती है पोस्ट कॉलोनियल फेमिनिज्म भी आता है राइट दलित फेमिनिज्म भी आएगा डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट ठीक है ब्राह्मणिकल पैट्रियार्की भी आएगी डोंट वरी फाइन we'll go through all don't worry he rejected the
idea and
argued that we should do something we should do something or treat someone as an and itself as an and itself because it is a good G-O-O-D. For example, studying for the sake of study, studying for the sake of study because it is a good to acquire knowledge. Yeah. Fine. Doing friendship for the sake of friends. Doing friendship for the sake of friends rather than a mere means to exchange. मैं आपके सेंटेंस को बना दे रहा हूँ शोभित.
Rather than mere means to exchange.
या mere means to exchange. हमें दोस्ती इसलिए करना चाहिए कि दोस्ती अच्छी चीज होती है. ऐसा नहीं कि उसकी दोस्ती करेंगे तो वो कुछ मुझे देगा या नहीं देगा. लॉट्स ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशन होता है ना, और फिर बाद में बहुत दुखी होती है, आत्मा को बहुत दुखी मिलती है ना. राइट. फ्रेंडशिप इसलिए करना चाहिए. फ्रेंडशिप इज अ गुड आइडिया, यू नो, गुड थिंग. राइट. you have lots of friends, right? Anyway, it means for Kant, every man is an and itself. Every man is an and itself and cannot be made means for somebody else. And cannot be means for somebody else or something else. समझ में आया ये आइडिया कैटेगोरिकल इंपेरेटिव का, राइट? कि हमें क्यों अच्छा करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो अच्छी चीज होती है. गार्जियन को क्यों पढ़ाना चाहिए बच्चे को? क्योंकि पढ़ाई अच्छी चीज होती है. ऐसा नहीं कि नौकरी मिले, वो आउटपुट अपने आप आएगा. डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, राइट? बट ऐसा नहीं कि बच्चा ने कल को थोड़ा सा ऐसे करके पढ़ाना बंद कर दिया. फाइन. चलिए, तो ये आइडियलिज्म हो गया हमारा. नाउ वी विल टॉक अबाउट लिबरलिज्म. पीएच ग्रीन को अलग से करेंगे. कांट को पढ़ लिया, प्लेटो यू नो लिटिल बिट, उतना ही बताना है, ठीक है? और कांट यू नो, इमेजिन कांट यू नो. Now we will talk about liberalism. Liberalism बहुत बड़ा है. approximately 2 दिन तो लग जाएगा. Liberalism, feminism बहुत बड़ा है. और socialism, ये तीनों जब खत्म हो जाए तो मुझे समझिए आधा पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी मैंने खत्म कर दिया. I told you that when you study so right, and it's also called negative liberalism. But इसका मतलब नहीं है कि negative मतलब negative है पूरा. Negative blood negative नहीं होता, वो भी blood होता है, right? और कोविड टाइम पे तो negative होना कितनी अच्छा सुकून था, right? किसी को अगर कोई बोल दिए दोस्त यार मैं पॉजिटिव हो गया, ठीक है यार, बी पॉजिटिव. पॉजिटिव इतना बुरा था ना कि कोविड में पॉजिटिव हो गया, राइट? तो नेगेटिव लिबरलिज्म डजंट मीन नेगेटिव. नेगेटिव लिबर्टी डजंट मीन नेगेटिव सेंस. फाइन, गॉट द आइडिया? हां. तो क्लासिकल लिबरलिज्म we will study modern and we will study liberalism. And then we will talk about socialism. मैं यहीं पे वर्ड यूज कर लेता हूँ. It is called developmentalism. हमारे से इसी में आते हैं, ठीक है? हमारे से इसी कैटेगरी में फॉलो करते हैं, राइट? जॉन रॉल्स इसी कैटेगरी में फॉलो करता है. रोनाल्ड डॉकिंस इसी कैटेगरी में फॉलो करता है. मिल टॉक अबाउट. अच्छा, ये क्लासिकल लिबरलिज्म आपको पता है जॉन लॉक, right? The father. Now to talk about, this is a meta theology, right? This is a meta theology. Now to talk about classical liberalism, we talked about, you know, when I taught you J.S. Mill, we divided this. Like इतना division नहीं किया था, but ये तीनों division किया था, right? And I taught you John Locke. और कौन था? जॉर्डन बैंथम. और कौन था? एडम स्मिथ और जेसमिन ने इधर से इधर भाग गए। राइट, अच्छा, इनका कोर वैल्यू क्या है? इनका कोर वैल्यू है लिबर्टी। कोर वैल्यू क्या है? वैल्यू है लिबर्टी और इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी, राइट? और दूसरा भी लिख सकते हैं इंडिविजुअल। इंडिविजुअलिज्म, दैट इज कोर वैल्यू। अच्छा, डेवलप कब हुआ? डेवलप हुआ है 17th and 18th century, right? Mid of 19th century तक जब तक जेसमिन लिख रहे थे, 17th 18th century में ये डेवलप हुआ है। फाइन, कोर वैल्यू क्या है? लिबर्टी। इतना समझ में आया? इनके एक्सपोनेंट कौन थे? अच्छा, कब ये 18th 19th and till mid 19th century में 17th 18th 19th century को टाइम लिया है अपने डेवलपमेंट में। कोर वैल्यू लिबर्टी है। नाउ इफ यू टॉक अबाउट जॉन लॉक, थोड़ा सा जॉन लॉक को याद करते हैं। What John Locke said, man is free. Is he said? Human beings are born free and equal in the state of nature. Right? They have a right to, life, liberty, and property. Remember this idea? They have right to life, liberty, and property. Right? And every individual being have religion, rationality, logic. They are cooperative, right? They can govern themselves, and man is sovereign or the best judge of himself. He knows what is his best interest. Right? That is a human nature for liberals, that man is irrational, right? Man is the best judge of his own interests, and therefore neither state nor society come into intervene in the individual's liberty. अगर मैंने शादी करना सोचा तो सोसाइटी आके मुझे नहीं बोलेगी इस लड़की से शादी करो, राइट? और ये रिलीजन मुझे आके ये ना कहे कि तुम इस लड़की से शादी करो, या स्टेट ना आके कहे इस लड़की से शादी करो। नो, आई एम द बेस्ट जज ऑफ माय ओन इंटरेस्ट बिकॉज आई एम a rational being as per they believe. Got the idea? And they believe that every individual has same liberty. Me, you all have equal liberty, right? No have more than the other. All are reciprocal. Remember law, classical example of law, right? And they believe that about human nature, human is good, right? Come in, Maya. Okay. What did you believe for this as a state? State should be the limited, right? Priority कौन है यहाँ पर? Individual. Priority कौन है यहाँ पर? Individual. Right. So, for example, classical liberalism को देखते हैं एक मिनट. क्लासिकल लिबरलिज्म, और केवल लिबरलिज्म रहे तो आप क्लासिकल लिबरलिज्म भी समझ, राइट? नहीं तो लिख देंगे न्यू लिबरलिज्म और लिबर्टेरियनिज्म। ना क्लासिकल लिबरलिज्म हमारे ह्यूमन नेचर पे क्या कहता है? रिमेंबर जॉन लॉक, राइट? इंसान बहुत अच्छा होता है, राइट? नहीं कहता है, you remember man, the human nature from the law, right? He has vision, he do his best, right? And nobody should come and intervene in his work. So individual is prior to the state. क्या है ये? Individual is prior to the state. क्योंकि state of nature में कुछ भी नहीं था ना. Remember, state of nature में कुछ भी नहीं था. क्या थी? Individual था और उसका natural right था. और individual का natural right क्या था? Right to life, right to liberty, and right to property. And each person has equal right, similar right. No one has more than the other, and all were reciprocal. All were the best judge, or able to govern themselves. Right? So that is a human nature. लिख पाऊंगा अभी इतना टाइम भी हो गया ना, मैं सोच रहा हूँ एक्सप्लेन करके छोड़ दूं. Now we talk about state. For liberals, a state must be limited. State must be limited, and it is individual which is prior to the state. State of nature में individual का state नहीं था. State क्यों आया है? इसके आया है individual के right को protect करने के लिए, safeguard करने के लिए. Why we have created a state? We have created a state so that state can safeguard and protect everyone's liberty. We have liberty but no license, mind it. We have liberty but no license, right? So whenever there is a liberty is violated, then or any agreement is violated, then the state come and solve the problem. Fine, state हो गया. Now talk about society. What about society? Even individual prior to society. और पहले तुम्हें इंडिविजुअल लिखना चाहिए. Individual. Liberals give priority to individuals, their liberty, their rights, right to life, liberty, and property. And this individual is prior to the society. State of nature में society भी नहीं था. You remember? State of nature में society भी नहीं थी. कौन था? Individual था. And each individual was free and equal. Right? So even society should not come and impose its own authority on individual. और state को भी नहीं आकर के impose करना चाहिए. Right? So individual is prior to the society, to the state. A state should be limited. Right? Society is good because we are living good, we cooperate each other, we satisfy each other's need. But it does not mean society should be despotic. Despotic means authoritarian. Yeah, authoritarian. हाँ, ये चलो भाई एक जाति में, एक इसमें, एक उसमें हम शादी करें. No. Individual is prior, and since he is rational, he is the best judge of his own interest. He knows, right? But Will said that liberty is a good in itself. It is good for individual. It is good for society, it is good for state. And those society and those state which promotes and protect liberty becomes progressive. But those society who curb liberty, curtails liberty, becomes advanced society, a very snide society, right? A very stagnant pool, right? And that society cannot progress without liberty. Right? So individual liberty is good. A genius person can do excellence only when he is free. Right? So individual liberties, right? Society is, for the individual, for maximizing freedom of individual, not restricting them. What the idea? चलो society समझ में आया इसके मतलब का. Then I'll come to the now we talk about state बात कर लिया. Now talk about equality. How liberals talks about equality? Liberals talks about क्या कहा John Locke? We all are equal, right? we all are equal. Equality here they give priority to that one. तो बोला कि ठीक है, इसके पास बहुत पैसा है, मेरे पास नहीं है, इनके पास और भी नहीं है, इनके पास थोड़ा और है. Yes, we all are unequal. Right? हो सकता है ये गोरे है, मैं काला हूँ, ये लड़की है, ये मर्द है, ये इस थर्ड जेंडर है. Right? That all differences. But there should be equality. Right? Equality of opportunity and equality before the law. Law के समान हम सबको बराबर होना है. That is a liberal concept of equality. Equality of opportunity and rule of law. Equality before the law. That is the concept of equality. अब कल समझाऊंगा थोड़ा सा. थोड़ा समझ में आया? Right? तो जितना WPT तगड़ा होगा ना, उतना मजा आएगा पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी पढ़ने में. नहीं, आप इसको भूल जाओगे, पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी आपके लिए कष्टदायक हो जाएगा. It will be very painful to understand. Political theory is so much dense, but if you know your political thought, we will bring everything from political thought. Don't worry. I'll not bring any idea from outside. कुछ idea लाऊंगा मैं आपको explain करूँगा. यहाँ पर देखा सब वही है ना? Western political thought से कुछ है नया, ऐसा मैंने कुछ बोला हो नहीं, जब बोलूँगा तो बता दूँगा. तो वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट आपका तगड़ा होना चाहिए, जो पढ़ा है आपने. राइट? प्लीज रीड योर वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट 10 times at least.